We like to bring things to you a bit different.
Our usual early start to the year one, isn't it?
So we are at Lydney Heritage Port on
Very
the
correct.
River Severn estuary.
Well remembered.
You could tell I was thinking then, couldn't you, with the pauses. We spent last night in a cabin with a hot tub, which was lovely.
In Wollaston.
And we've come to explore the Lydney Pidcocks Canal this morning, which wasn't planned. We didn't know it was here until we got here. We thought we'll make the most of it. It's a little bit of a shorter video this week, but hopefully of interest to you.
Fascinating. It really is.
So enjoy. Put any comments below. Any suggestions for anywhere else you'd like us to explore?
So push that one, ring that bell. It's free to you, us, the people of Lydney, and the world. Share us, care us, join us.
Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for your support. We really, really do appreciate it. And we'll see you at the end.
Morning, how are we? Well, last night was spent having our Christmas present, wasn't it?
It was.
And it's beautiful. We booked an Airbnb chalet, as you can see here, which came with a hot tub. We had a lovely afternoon in the hot tub, and then watched a little bit of TV. Yeah, and then turned around and jumped back in it and stargazed last night. We saw the sunset.
Last night we got back in. It was lovely.
Yeah, so a very, very pleasant evening.
Haven't sat and looked at stars for a long time.
Yeah, and it's on a little farm. Well, I say a little farm. For us, it's a little farm. It's got a campsite attached to it. In the background, and what we're trying to do, it overlooks the... Hello, darling.
Hello, moo cow.
And that's how close you can get. How are you, darling? Are you okay? Hey? Are you okay? The neighbours came to see us while we were in the hot tub as well. You can see the
River Severn.
River Severn and the suspension bridge just outside Chepstow. We're in a place called Lydney.
Wollaston.
Wollaston, near
bigger local town as Lydney.
Yeah. So we're going to go and explore that today.
Definitely one we'll come back to though. It's been lovely.
With our newfound friend. We're going to go and see what the sights are round about Rossall. Why are we? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So come and join us for the day. We'll see how we get on. So as we've passed by yesterday, as we were coming out to Lydney, we passed tourist crafts. Don't know what it's like. We're going to have a wander round, see what's there, see whether we can get any ideas or buy anything with gifts that we've got. But it's got a forest brewery and tap room as well. A little bit too early in the morning. I get a note to this. We're starting to get more and more into alcohol here, and well, I wasn't brought up on it, but and there's some crazy golf. Probably a nice place to come and visit. Let's go and have a wander around, see what there is, and see what we might be able to turn around and point in your direction. Or for independent traders.
Just coming into the entrance, and Tourist Crafts is run by Camp Hill Village Trust, which, looking at this map, have got various locations across the country, one of them being at Stourbridge, so we might have to check that out soon
also
too.
one at West Midlands too.
Oh yeah. So there we go. So unfortunately most of the shops in here are closed today, so it'll just be a case of wandering around and peering through the windows. We stood on the swing bridge at the end of the Lydney Pidcocks Canal.
Can't get away from it, can we?
We can't, no. So behind us you can see the harbour, Lydney Harbour, which obviously is still in use. The boats do look like they might not get used that often though. And then if I turn around, the swing bridge obviously does get used because there's boats that side of it as well. So the Lydney and Pidcock Canal is just over a mile long, or was just over a mile long, and went up to the collieries in the Forest of Dean and was used to transport coal down from the late 1780s just until 1840.
Because then there was a horse-drawn tramway that was built.
There was, so we'll try and get some pictures to insert to show you some of the history. And Lydney Harbour itself has been a cornerstone of industry on the River Severn estuary since Roman times, so it's absolutely steeped in history. So we'll go and see what else we can find out.
Oui.
We will also walk up the canal a bit and see if we can see anything else of interest up the old canal. There was 3 locks up there. I don't think we're going to see any evidence of those. And there's the original train yard we've just come past driving down here. So there was bits of water as we drove down, but not a lot. So we'll have a look and see if there's anything of interest.
Do you realise what my good wife's turned round and said to me? It reads, "Welcome to Lydney Harbour. This is a working harbour. Children must be supervised at all times. The site is protected as a scheduled monument." What did you say?
Need to keep you on a short leash.
Mum, she's picking on me. Tell her off.
As with lots of places at the moment, there is high water levels here. There's 3 sets of lock gates going out onto the River Severn. As you can see, the gates are open and the level of the water is quite high currently. Back in 1997, the set of gates out onto the river at the far end, which we'll show you in a minute, did collapse, and there was large stones put into place to help managing the flooding whilst the repairs were done. And those stones are now placed down the footpath for the walk around the harbour. So we'll get some shots of those as we go as well. Water in the basin is kept at the same height as the high tidal water of the River Severn at all times, but as we've just seen, the water above the locks is actually at high levels at the moment as well, so the gates are permanently open at the moment with all the flooding. There is just a very short window at high tide normally for boats to go in and out of the basin. Sorry for the wind sound, it's a bit breezy down here. There's also a cafe and some toilets at the end of the point here as well. This is as far as we can walk to the end of the canal lock gates where it meets the River Severn. Would have been an absolute bustling port 100 years ago with the coal boats coming down. This is one of 4 capstans that used to be used for opening and closing the inner lock gates before they were mechanised in the year 2000. It was restored in 2023 and has been put here in recognition of the contribution of David Penfold, a former harbour master. There is an information hub down by the cafe as well, which has got some really interesting facts and figures. So the port is a scheduled ancient monument and it used to handle over 2,000 vessels and 300,000 tonnes of coal annually in its heyday in 1821. There are also 3 circular walks around the area, which are detailed on this map in the information hub. The final industrial activity here was the import of tropical timber for the Pine End Works, which were built in 1940 to manufacture technical aircraft and marine plywood for wartime requirements. This took place up until 1977, when unfortunately it was then moved overseas, causing the harbour to close. You can see the large cog which forms part of the lock mechanism here.
So this is a monument to the lookout that's been repurposed, and Tash is just showing visible possibility of looking out for people at different heights to do their job. There's a little one, probably for the kids to turn around and see, but might be, but if we turn around and walk past Tash and look down, it's an absolute stunning view down the estuary to the bridges across the Avon. The Severn, isn't it? The Severn. But I'm going to be dead cheeky and see whether I can do this. Yeah. But
so
this.
Put that leash on you.
Yes. Because I'm going to climb over brambles and all sorts. But the view is absolutely beautiful. All the way up. And the Severn Boar comes past here, yeah, and that's going to be round about March, was it?
The 12th is the one.
Round about March the 12th. But you've got the old harbour wall into the basin, and then that is where the tram line.
This way, I'm cold.
Yeah, you're right. The tram line used to come down to here, and we're going to go and hunt a little bit further up because there's apparently the old turntable to number 9 chute for the coal. So we're going to go take a womble, see what we get. But it's absolutely beautiful.
The last load was bought here on the 31st of October 1960, which marked the end of the export of coal from Lydney Harbour.
So as we're walking up the old railway line, you've got a little way for the excess water, and it's around about 20. Oh wow! And that's where the way comes out. Really is amazing. As I was saying, they created back in 2020, approximately going from the boards, I've interpreted it as the visitor attraction, and there's lots of hilltop walks, clifftop walks, and these are the old blocks. I'm sure Tash will have turned around and said, and even a referral to Sharpness Docks and Wandswell Court. Sharpness Docks is part of another canal on the other side, but there's walks around the headlands, there's boards that turn around and advise, there's adverts back in the hub for the inshore lifeboat, needing volunteers. There's also a community project on building boats, which we've got information on, and maybe something to see whether it's still available. They're asking for volunteers to make them boats, aren't they? But if this is the old railway line, then when we came down, there's a local steam railway that people can have rides on. Forestine and Y from the sound of it. Tasha's just gone to look at a sign. Onyx, built Gloucester, Joseph Barnard, 1900.
So that's the
Beach June 1955.
Sunken boat.
Oh yeah, and back in the tub, the 7 Trows. Yeah, the boats that they turned around and had, they actually turned around and said that they'd actually sunk them to save the erosion of the bank and filled them with stones. There is some of the remnants of one of the 7 Trows in one of the boats, being 70-80 foot long. I don't know how well you can see that. I can't see my screen too well, so let's see. There you go.
Here's one of the big stones that I was talking about that were used to help prevent flooding when the lock gates collapsed back in 1997. They've been put in place at various points along this walk and have compass bearings on them to other locations close by. So the arrangement of these stones is called Points of View, and it was commissioned by an artist called David Yeats, who has designed the compass viewpoints on them. These stones here are also some of the stones that were used to shore up the entrance to the harbour when the lock gates collapsed. They're not Druid stones, as many would possibly think, understandably.
Well, what you won't guess I'm in is the pillbox we've found, and it's very different to what I thought it would be.
It's in really good condition still as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I expected it to stink of urine and stuff like that, and I don't mean to be crass, but like things like this.
Yeah, often get abused, don't they?
Yeah, I've got Tash outside.
I haven't bent down to get in there because my back hurts and it's not going to do it any good.
But that is the entrance. It's small, and there's a central pillar to hold it up, but there's viewing points all the way around. I'm well impressed. I haven't been in one of these, but it's clean, it's tidy, and I'm just going to get out. So you can see the outside, and these are all normally all blocked up, so you can't get in. I'm going to have to move, aren't I, because of the sun. There you go. Pillbox. I'll turn it round so that you can turn round and see. There you go. Even the wall entrance, the pillbox itself, and if I can get there, the entrance into, and that's where the estuary is. Always something new to adventure. We've got the canal to the right and the industrial estate with the road up into town, and then to the left you've got the landscape and the River Severn, and all this landscape is what I was saying about, if I can find somewhere nice to just view, is what the Ice Age left. I'll find a hole for you to see. There you go, just a little bit of the Ice Age melt, and it's got a bit of a bank to go over the actual, stop the river getting in, but I'm sure it'll end up being a bit of a floodplain while being a bit of a farmer's grazing land as well.
So we've managed to find a pathway down from the old railway line to the canal. It is a bit overgrown, we can't go much further. I just thought we'd show you that we have got down to a bit of it.
It does say
outside of the harbour.
It does say a little bit further back about possibly being just for anglers.
Yeah.
And going from the way that it looks,
it's not used.
It probably is just for anglers.
So we'll go back up to the old railway line and see how much further along the canal we can get, and see if we can identify where the locks were.
It does actually say that the walk takes you into the town centre, so maybe we need to do that one.
So yeah, let's see where else we can find.
Let's go and try.
Well, didn't get that quite right, did we? I said at the beginning this was going to be a shorter video. It's actually would be double the length of what we normally do, so we've cut it in half.
That's one of them, isn't it? No. Told you so.
There was so much to discover on the Lydney and Pidcock Canal. So yes, we've stopped halfway and we'll bring the second part to you next week.
No. Did we find the locks?
So thank you to all our new followers. We really, really do appreciate it. Please share us with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Push the button, ring the bell. It's free to everybody, so make the most of sharing it with all your friends and family so that we can give you more information.
And we'll see you for part 2 next week. Have a good one.
See you later.